Hello everyone, it's Andrew from Gem TCG here, and today's video I will be talking about a big shift that I'm doing with my eBay store and how it's been working out for me over this past month because my sales have gone up around $1,500 since I've shifted to this kind of system and doing things a little bit differently. And it kind of stems in with what I was talking about last week with the chaos sort. And big shout out to RNG Games for that, for explaining how it is. And he actually made a video few days ago talking more about the chaos sort, and he was able to pull 70 orders in 30 minutes, which is insane for eBay because with the traditional sorting methods that would take at least an hour and a half, and you would have to memorize where everything is, sort things in a different way every time you're listing them, and it's just a big headache. So definitely check that video out to learn more about the chaos sort and just like how important it is and how helpful it is. And that is a big reason on why I'm making this shift. I got a lot of comments the other day, past few weeks actually, asking how I'm going to be handling the chaos sort with the variation listings, because one thing I talk about a lot and advise a lot is to do variation listings on eBay because it just brings in so much volume of sales and so many multi-card sales. But with this new system, it's kind of making me conflicted a little because I don't know which one is better use of time and then also getting more sales. So I decided to test it out and try out this new chaos sort method, do a bunch of single card listings, and here is how it went. So this is my sales history from the last 31 days. As you can see here, the total sales went up 8% from last year, or last previous 31 days before that, which is huge considering the time period we were in. Usually sales are slower during the summer, and July is definitely like peak summer. This is when most people go on vacation and do all that type of stuff. So for there to be an 8% increase, I think it's very good. And from this chart, it's hard to see the quantity sold per day, but the fact that sales have gone up 8%, and I haven't been using it the entire 31 days because most of my time I've been spending actually developing TCG Automate, but now I am consistently using it. I've been listing around 500 cards per day just in my spare time. I have an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, I'll start making some batches and listing them. And it's been really good so far. So now my new approach is, instead of doing entirely variation listings with a very tiny amount of single card listings, I decided to focus on maintaining the variation listings that do well. So what I mean by that is, with these 129 different variation listings I will focus on the ones that actually have a high sold quantity and continue to update the quantity to those and continue making them better. Because right here, this trainer gallery one, 2,900 sold. Team Rocket, 2,700 cards sold. So like, there's definitely a ton that are doing really well. But then if I scroll down here and I look at, let's just say, black and white base, I have 600 listed with only 78 sold. And this has been active for what, 2 years now, almost 2 years with only 78 sold. So to me, it's not worth it to continue maintaining these listings because they're just not selling as frequently as I would prefer. So what I'm going to be doing is, whenever I get cards from these sets that are not performing well, I will list them all as singles, and then anything that is performing well. So a really good one is this Pokemon Gold Rare variation listing. I have 536 available with 520 sold. And that is a very good sell-through rate, because that doesn't mean I'm overlisting, it's not selling a lot. Same with this Rainbow Rare one, 375 available, 435 sold. And it works the same for these higher ones too. 1,500 available, 2,700 sold. So these ones I'm going to be listing and maintaining, and then everything else is just going to go into the single card listings, because it's just, the time save is huge for me, like using the software. And obviously not everyone wants to use the software or can fit it into their budget, so you don't have to do it. You don't have to use the tool, you could still list them manually. The only problem that would arise from that is you just not being able to list as many singles, because the main reason why I was doing variation listings was because it's just so much easier to create them and maintain them in the long run than just creating a bunch of single card listings. So that is going to be my approach moving forward. And I'm going to do, because this month, the month of August, I'm going to be doing it entirely doing that. And I will make a follow up video in September showing how this actually pans out. Because right now I'm working with last month's data, but I only started doing this over the last 2 weeks, I think. So it's hard to use that as actual data, but it's still noticeable already, but it's just not significant yet. And another side thing is that I want to mention is even on listings that are performing well, like this trainer gallery one, I'm going to be listing some of them as singles too, because if you look here, I have 64 Ariados, 52 Passimian, 50 Octillery cards, and I don't need to continue adding to that quantity. It's just going to clog up my inventory, and there's no point to doing that. So what I am going to be doing is if there's a variation with more than 20 copies available, I'll just make a single card listing for it too. And I've done this before a few months ago with my Wizards of the Coast cards, because if you just look at my base set listing, I have 105 Bulbasaur cards, and I don't need 105 in one listing. It's just sitting there, and most of them are not getting the opportunity to be sold. So what I'm doing instead is I already made single card listings for those extra copies just to expand the reach and get those sales to people that care more about centering and quality and seeing the actual exact copy of the card that they're buying. Because as much as I don't want to completely cater to those types of buyers, you have to understand that they do take up a large part of the buyer base on eBay. And on top of that, it expands your reach in the sense where, let's say someone is just searching up that example, Bulbasaur base set. I don't know what the number is, but so right here, mine is the third one that's showing up. It's this listing right here. And then if you scroll down, it probably won't show up, but actually, I don't know if I have a Bulbasaur one. Let's find something that I actually do have. Actually, I know for sure that I have Omanite Fossil. I have freaking 300 copies of that card. So Omanite Fossil Unlimited. So I believe, well, mine's performing not good at all. This is where the variation listing is happening, and I cannot find the single card listing. But I hope you get the point. It's not like, it's just you're expanding your reach by having multiple listings. Because imagine all three of these were from the same seller. These three copies, that would mean that person has three opportunities to be bought. So expanding your listings and having more listings available, it just stretches, it makes a wider net, if that makes sense. And there's also that counter argument for multiple quantity listings on a single card, which can also be very beneficial, but try whichever one works best for you. For promo cards, I definitely recommend doing a multi quantity listing. But for everyday cards where people are not really buying them out and buying up a bunch of them at once, you don't really need to do it. I've noticed in my time of selling, most people that are buying 5+ copies of one card is either because my pricing is lower than what the market is because it just got outdated, or because it's a promo card that people are trying to buy up and buy out. A few months ago, I think, or maybe last month, was the Mimikyu from, I think, Paldean Fates, that promo. Someone bought up 30 copies from me, all in that variation listing that I had, because it's a promo and the market price was going up, so that person took advantage of it and bought all 30 copies. Similarly, the Galarian Slowpoke, I had 20 copies, all got sold. Rayquaza from Blooming Waters, the collection box, I had 102 copies and they all sold. Not from the same person, but over the span of a week, people were just buying them left and right, 20 copies at a time, 10 copies, 5, whatever. So you can pick and choose what you prefer to have for the multi-quantity listings versus just doing a single card listing. But in my opinion and experience, the ones that perform the best for the multi-quantity is the promos. that's just an update on how I'm going to be changing some things with my store a little bit. It's not a big change, it's just kind of reorganizing where my cards get listed. Another little thing I'm doing is listing a lot more reverse hollows because that's like, honestly, I'm not even lying. That is the main reason why I built TCG Automate, is just to be able to list a bunch of reverse hollows because they sell really well for me, but the time to profit ratio is too low for me to justify doing it manually, like with this sell similar approach. So I wanted to build that so that I could list more cards and then get more sales without having to spend so much more time doing it. And I'm very glad that like, you all enjoy it too. So plan to just keep making it better, keep growing my store and listing more cards, and that's about it. Thank you all for the support. Let's hope for a great month of August and a bunch of sales, and I will see you all in the next video.